According to scientific research, when a person falls into a deep coma, the brain suffers severe damage to the cerebral cortex or the reticular activating system in the brainstem. This causes the patient to completely lose consciousness, keep their eyes closed, show no reaction to sound or pain, and have their Glasgow coma scale score drop to the lowest level. However, there is a mystery behind this that makes many people ask, when in a deep coma, does the brain really lose all consciousness? Some people, after emerging from a coma, have seen many strange things. They even feel as if they themselves lived an entirely different life during the coma, a life so real that after waking up, they can no longer tell which world they truly belong to. This is exactly the topic of today's video, and I am here to share my perspectives on the mysteries of the brain after a coma. As for you, if you have different thoughts or judgments from mine, please leave a comment so we can gain more viewpoints. The following views are only personal perspectives. First, let us look at some cases in which people, after falling into a coma, saw and experienced many strange things. Dr. Eben Alexander, one of the leading neurosurgeons at Harvard Medical School in the United States, used to be skeptical whenever anyone claimed they had seen the deceased. But after experiencing a similar sensation during a coma himself, he changed his mind. In a new book titled The Map of Heaven, Eben affirmed that many things still lie beyond the understanding of science. He was in a coma for 7 days, and during those days he recounted that he seemed to have journeyed to another world. He could perceive sounds, colors, smells, and the sensations of a completely different world that felt extraordinarily real. The Mirror reported on the near-death experience of a British woman named Nicola Hodges. At the age of 32, she fell into a life-threatening coma. After she regained consciousness, she spoke about the other side and said it was a place completely different from anything people had ever described. In 2025, a French young woman named Clélia Verdier fell into a medically induced coma for 3 weeks. When she woke up, she asked the nurse where her children were. In reality, Clélia was only 19 years old and had never been married or given birth. It turned out that during those 3 weeks of coma, the young woman had lived an entirely different life that lasted 7 years. Now let us clarify these stories. If during a coma the brain loses all consciousness and is no longer responsive to any external stimuli, then why do the cases I just mentioned involve such vivid and realistic memories and experiences? Is it possible that another world exists parallel to ours? In that world there are also versions of us and our loved ones, but they are living different lives. After a coma, could a spatial gateway have accidentally opened, allowing some people to wander into that parallel world? This sounds completely crazy, yet I think it might be possible. Who knows, during the time Clélia was in a coma, she might have replaced a Clélia in a parallel world who had a family and was the mother of 3 children. According to scientific explanations, the brain is simply affected by the medications used in treatment and produces hallucinations. But those hallucinations are far too real, they even stretch out like an entire lifetime. I am someone passionate about psychology and equally passionate about exploring the mysterious. Suppose I say that many other spaces exist in parallel, and each of those spaces has its own different timeline. Then the lives people recount during a coma could be a future that has not yet occurred in our current dimension. There is another hypothesis that I find quite interesting. It is possible that during a coma, a part of a person's consciousness or spirit travels far and wide. It sees stories and feels everything. When that part of consciousness deeply identifies with a particular life, it records the experience in memory. After waking up, the person regards it as their own life and believes they have lived another existence. Let me share some of my own experiences. I believe some of you may have felt something similar. I once felt that I was falling into another dimension while sleeping. At first the sensation was stifling and made it hard to breathe. I struggled to escape that space. After exhausting myself, I decided to relax my body. And miraculously, my body became light, a strangely light feeling. I felt myself floating, drifting through a space that was somewhat dense yet soft. I met people and saw beautiful landscapes I had never seen before. After I woke up, I kept remembering that sensation, feeling a little regretful and very curious about it. Was it simply my brain creating those illusions, including sensations I had never experienced in the real world? But if at that moment I had wandered into another space, then it would prove that we are not the only ones in this universe. The universe still holds many mysteries. I believe the boundary between our real world and the other side exists. It is the product of a force far superior to human beings, and it exists for a reason. At the same time, I still firmly believe in science. Our brain is also extraordinarily miraculous. There are still many secrets that science has not yet unlocked. A single brain can invent countless fascinating things and allow us to experience completely new sensations that we may only encounter once in a lifetime. So what about you? What do you think about the mysteries of the human brain? Do you believe in the supernatural world and mystical spirituality, or do you believe in science? Stay tuned for more interesting insights from me through both scientific and spiritual lenses in future videos. Thank you for listening.